That's a good start. Hey guys, just going to be doing a quick video on endgame goals. I'm going to go over what my endgame goal is, just to give some structure to some other people to look for. We're going to be looking at gear sets, heroes, what you're going to be keeping them and using them for, which ones are good, which ones are bad. Again, the same usual stuff. But for the most part, I want to basically say what my build's going to be for my characters at the end of the day. And also, I want to say that at this point, I'm just so tired of spending money on this game that I'm even thinking about actually just quitting, because it's just a huge waste of money. Like the drop rates for gear in this game are absolutely ridiculous, and for people who have the money, it's just like I obviously make very bad decisions with my money, so I'm thinking it's probably just better for me to quit. But I'm gonna try just being a free-to-player. I have tons of stuff, and it'd be a horrible waste not to use it now, but gonna go over what my goal gear is. Now, this is basically sorry, exactly how I want my first slot character to look. This is what I envisioned. The only thing that's different, obviously, is I don't have a first slot set that I felt was any good to put on Chenny. So I just don't have like first slot good gear. I don't have a third piece of Beast Rain because I'm not that lucky. Though my decimeter sets might make you think completely otherwise. Also, I don't have the chest piece for the gold tiger set. But that's basically what I'd be looking for my first slot heroes goals. I think this is the maximum best sets to be aiming for, to hope to get the ones that you're going to be wanting to stack on most of your characters. This gold tiger set's effects are just too amazing. There's, even without the 130% HP, there's so many games where I'll screw up the micro and I'll just do something really stupid, and it looks like I'm getting my ass kicked, but Kai or Chenny will be left and look at this crazy buff, and they'll just clean house. Especially Kai, because now I've got the Desperado set on Kai. I was lucky enough to get another bow, so now my Kai's going to have an extra movement. And then I just blew a bunch of money trying to get a boot, and I did not get it, and I just got really pissed off about that. I did get another freaking telescope, though, so hopefully Nexon brings out a form of exchange in the future where you can just exchange pieces of the same set for gear pieces in that set to try and make things nicer for their players. But I don't see that happening. They're not a very nice company. Anyway, pretty sweet potentials on that bow too, by the way. But like the thing that I've noticed after you get to a certain point, if you are going to be paying for the game or paying to play and whatever, hopefully paying to win, is that most of the money that you spend you just completely throw away. As you can see here at the top, for my my materials for upgrading different ranks, I obviously have zero shortages on anything, because for the most part every piece of gear that I get just completely gets disassembled. That's all it is. You eventually get to this roof where if you're not getting the set piece, then your characters aren't getting better at all. And to be honest, I don't really feel like I need it. Like, I'm not going to say that it's not amazing to have like a Pathfinder set or a Ghost Step set. Like, it's completely amazing to have them. But a few days ago, I saw Crowhex. He's one of the higher up players. He beat the Tower of Dawn, and he got a Pathfinder set for his reward. Good things come to the people who wait. Sometimes you might just get it for free. Like, it's definitely possible just to wait out the months, and eventually I'll have these pieces. And that's basically what I'm going to be hoping for from now on, because I'm actually so close to my ideal maximum that I think that I'm just going to ruin the game for myself if I start splurging and blowing money. That said, I really, really, really want the chess piece for my gold tiger sets. I really, really, really want Neldrika's Trinity for Bearman. And I think I want Omnipotent and Omniscient set for Serendi. Just because if she gets charmed or anything like that, then she can turn it off herself. Because I need her to turn off debuffs for a lot of my characters. Because believe it or not, when you blow through 30 or 40,000 Mammoth Stones, it's totally possible to not have any immunities on any of the characters that you use. It's completely possible. I have stun immunity on Momo. That is the only immunity I've ever gotten. Not that I've never gotten pink potentials before, as you can see. For some reason, they really loved getting them on Deb, but no immunities. Nothing. I even got 400 defense for Chenny I just got today. And I kind of want my crit rate back. Because 400 defense just isn't an impactful stat. Yeah, anyway, end game goal. You're going to want to have for your first slot, it's going to change a lot because first slot equipment is there's some very, very, very good pieces. There's very good ones for tanks, there's very good ones for attack type characters, there's not so great ones for everybody else, but there are some mediocre things that you can get decent advantages with. I'm going to find one of the sets I have. Oh, this one right here. This would probably be a good all-round set for everybody because it increases advantage strategy power for people by a small amount, and it gives everybody 1200 attack. Not everybody, but anybody who equips it. So that'd be probably a really good slot 1 set. That's the Savage Protection. But if you're a tank or if you're an attack type, there's better options. Like the Cold-Hearted Sniper is a pretty good set. Or the paper type only characters, the Rebel Army supply. That's another very good one. Because an extra 4% HP is pretty impactful. Especially on a slot in gear where you can't really get good potentials. I find it to be particularly useful. But that's it for 1 slot. 2 slot gear, everybody that is not a tank should basically have a decimal meter set. That's like it's so good that there's very few other pieces that are even worthwhile. Lumen Hymn or Lava Chaser are good because they give you an extra movement. So those might be good alternatives, but for the most part, they're not going to blow away a 2,000 hit rate and 60% attack for 2 turns. Especially because that's the same amount of turns that a Ghost Step set's effect lasts. So like you really are going to want to have those things to be competitive in higher level PvP. Sets that you're going to be aiming for on tier 3, obviously, are going to be the Beast Rain sets. I have Dick All for that, but I'm actually pretty happy with 3 stars that I do have because I got some really damn good stuff. Got some pretty amazing potentials on my gear, and it more than makes up for my lack of actually worthwhile sets that I have, so that's totally cool with me. Anyway, moving on. Again, for your 4th slot, you're only going to really need 1 Ghost Step set. I think if I'm being honest here, what I'm aiming for personally is 1 Ghost Step set, 2 Pathfinders, and then this tank set. I'm debating whether or not to drop this for a 3rd Pathfinder set, but it's very unlikely that I'm ever going to get the pair of boots that I'm even missing, let alone another Pathfinder set before I quit this game. So, just for future reference, it might be something that if you are really pay to win, or even if you're a free-to-play player who just is able to clear the tower every month and is collecting sets, these are going to be your goal sets. Let's hope Nexon doesn't ruin the game enough to make it not even last a year. But this is a great set all by itself. Now, just the aggro. If you're not aware of how aggro works in PvP, basically it's your way to trick the AI into mobbing altogether, so you can go in with a huge area attacks and just stomp on somebody's whole team. It's very, very useful on the right characters. Obviously, Bearman is one of the tankiest guys of all time. It's pretty monstrous. And once I get an Eldrika's Trinity set on him, he'll be an even bigger monster. I've got 2 aggro sets on him right now, and that's all I have on him. There are a lot of sets I would like to have on my tank, but I have not had the opportunity to get them. There's never been a time where I've had money and I could be spending money and it's really fit the bill. Also, it's just in terms of how impactful it would be for me to spend money when I actually think about it on certain things, it's just not worth it. There's some sets that are very impactful. Like I find the Pathfinder set to be extremely impactful for the effect that it gives. Because now my Serenity's got 87,000 health. When I go into battle, my Kai also is in the 80,000s, so I don't know what that's all about. I think it's the bonuses from Bearman's equipment get added on after. But it's a pretty damn impactful set, because the base amount gets added in before your HP percentage potentials get added on. So the actual amount of HP that you're getting from it is actually a lot higher than the 15,860. That also compounds with your HP to attack potentials that you may have on your accessories, which are the main PvP wants to go for, because it is going to maximize your flat stats. If you're just only interested in playing PvE all day, it's much better to have things like damage on Nepenthes, increased damage on boss, and even on minions. If you find even just clearing the levels semi-difficult, those are going to be way better, more impactful potentials than your increased HP by percent of attack, depending at the stage you are in the game. Now, if you have like 10%, let's say, let me see if I can find a damage to boss. Alright, so 11.6% damage to boss. So I'll just say that's 11.6% extra damage. Where on my Serenity, who's got 90,000 health, attack by 2.3% of HP. Per HP is 90,000. 1% is 900 attack. 1% is 900 attack. So at 2.3, that's about 2100-ish almost attack extra that I'm getting from this potential alone. And it is calculated off the total amount before attack. The way that the potential calculations work is, say you're increasing attack by a certain percent, all the percentages get added together, and then it's one calculation off the base amount. If it's a separate stat, so increasing my attack by the total of my HP, it takes into consideration the total amount of HP I have after all my HP percentage potentials have been applied. So that's something really good to keep in mind. The stats are in priority that best benefits you. But if you think that maybe an attack gear, this has 8%, and then this one has 4%, and then this one has 7%, and it adds the 8%, and then it does the 7%, and then it does the 4%. It's not like that. It would be 8 plus 7 plus 4 is 19, so it would do the 19% bonus. If you have a Beast Rain or a Decimator set, you could test this in PvP or any battle. When you go and you can select your hero, and you'll see that they do not have 60% more than that flat amount that they have on the front screen when you're looking at their information. So if I go over and I look at Serenity's attack, 25,000 attack, when I go into battle, if she has 60% more, then she should have, what is 10%? Let's just say go by the 10%. It's easier for me to do it like that. So that'd be 15,000, I believe. So she doesn't have 40,000 attack when I go into PvP. She does not. So it's not calculated like that. It's got to be calculated with that attack bonus on top of all your other potentials being added in at the same time, because they're the same potential. It's just one has a temporary effect. But back to what I was saying about the attack to HP. Pathfinder set. I would get 2100 attack from that, and then my skill multiplies that attack by 184.6. So 1.846 is what it would multiply it by to get the output damage. So it would be an extra like 4,000 some attack, but if I did 20,000 damage, 10% more damage to boss, it would only be another 2,000 damage, for example. The way that attack works as as an amount is generally a lot better than damage. Anything that says damage is after the calculation of their defense and everything like that. So let's say I was going to attack a bunch of rock cuckoos that have 90% defense with a Serendi. Attack would be infinitely more beneficial to me because it's pre-calculation. The damage percent would be based off an extremely low amount of damage, where my increased attack percentage would be giving me higher flat numbers to work with. Where the damage is going off of maybe some low amount of damage that I'm able to output. So keep in mind, attack generally better than damage to anything or just damage in general. But for PvE, you could stack things like if you didn't get attack by HP, but you had a piece where you had increased damage to Nepenthes and boss, because there's obviously bosses in the Nepenthes dungeon, and they are classified as bosses, so those two effects do stack. But I do not know, and I cannot confirm whether the two effects, because they are different potentials, if they calculate at separate times or if they calculate all at the same time. So you'd have to figure that out yourself if you want to. But you could have like damage to minion, damage to boss, damage on Nepenthes all in the same piece. That would be an amazing piece of PvE gear. So why re-roll it for strictly just PvP? Unless if it's a higher rank, then I do recommend it, because the potentials of attack to HP get pretty high. If it's down at the bottom somewhere, then it's really not that important. Attack by 0.6% of HP. It's not that's not life changing. But if you want to be posting numbers into attack like this, then you're going to be needing potentials like those. Anyway, so again, looking at equipment, I actually like that ice set on Serendi, because it makes her much better at the glacier map. And her being able to walk on everything is really nice. I even debated not using the Pink Ranger set for a while, though its effect is pretty damn good on that glacier map. But I would take the Pink Ranger set off if I could get a Beast Train for sure. It's just I'm not going to be buying like crazy anymore, unless I win a lottery or something. It's not happening. But like, this is what I would call a practically finished character. The problem with having practically finished characters is because what you need is so specific and so low. For the most part, every time that you spend money, if you are paid to win player, you're literally getting nothing for your money. You're like, you know what, whatever. I'm going to say you're really rich, and you're just like, I'm going to drop $1,000 right now. Boom, 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 boom. That's crazy for $1,000 to try and get a piece of equipment. You might not even get it. You're looking for this one piece. I know Aaron's son, before he got his Eldrigus Trinity sets finished, he'd be talking in chat every day, and people would be consoling him about how he still doesn't have his extra hand piece, the weapon for his Eldrigus Trinity set. And then he would go and blow a couple $100, and then he wouldn't get it, and then he would try it again, and he wouldn't get it, and he would try it again, and he wouldn't get it, and he would give up, and he'd come back the next day and do it again. Now, he did eventually finish his sets, but for what it's going to cost to do that, it's pretty outrageous. So Not telling anybody what to do with their money, but just be warned that if you're not really feeling like the investment, like if I knew how this game was designed and how their business model worked, I fell in love with this game immediately during the beta. But I probably never would have even started playing if I knew, to be completely honest. Because I am one of those people who does have a decent bank, and I do have that option. It's too dangerous to be able to click it. I just need to have a security guard to go through that can talk me out of it. Anyway, that's basically what I'm going to be aiming for basically perfect characters. You're going to want to have the best potentials you can get. Obviously, and everything plus 10 and whatever, there's still a ways to go for me and my characters. But you're going to be wanting more impactful sets if you're getting any. If you're going to be buying, if you're going to be investing in things, is it better to have just no set compared to certain sets? Well, it depends. If you have a set that's very unimpactful, and then you have some regular gear with amazing potentials, use the gear with the amazing potentials. Recently, I'll give you an example. I got, when I was trying to get a boot, I got this for Chris. Alright. I got an extra set of these 4-star taunt aggro items. I got another one for Jack, because I'm raising a Jack. And I put them on them. Now, my Jack's attack went down 2,000 because the gear that I took off Jack, not that this is terrible, like these are pretty good pieces. But the gear that I took off of him was like so much better. With the exception of the chest piece I just showed you, it was way better. On this, by the way, I'm keeping the damage to meaning the damage boss, so I don't plan to PvP with Jack. Though I think he does need at least one set like this to gain the aggro. But if I took this set off of him, which is just extras that I took off from characters as I got a set, and then I put on, let's say, these two pieces, this for more aggro. I have the sword right here. To raise those up and hope I get the right potentials and all that, to be impactful on the stats would be so much work. It's just completely not worth it. So I'm not too far in love with that aggro. I want to make more impactful decisions that are going to give higher outputs for my characters, which is the goal behind having the sets in the first place. The sets have generally really good, outrageous effects, and people feel that they have an overwhelming advantage when they have them. And that's what would drive any of us to buy them in the first place. But sometimes equipping the set isn't always going to give you the best output. Sometimes it's just going to do some other thing. Like aggro sets, for example, are not fantastic for you. Unless you really have a very, very, very solid tank. I think aggro is a lot better used in PvP than PvE also. Though maybe I should post a little tricks video for PvE at some point, because there's some really cool things you can do in the dungeons for like the Queen's Bedchamber and things like that. Some really good positionings that I've been able to come up with, and just make the bosses just only attack Bearman. They walk right past my whole team. It's pretty cool. I think it's a very valuable stat in the game that gets overlooked a lot, but it's hard to put a flat price on the value of aggro. It's very easy to put a price on HP and attack and damage and more practical, in your face, this is what I'm here to do, kill your stuff kind of stats. So, gonna cut this video off here. Well, you really don't need much to make an amazing tank. If I got an Eldrika's Trinity on here and maybe even drop that S rank 4-star set for another Pathfinder, if I can get one, this Bearman would be a monster. He would probably have like 180 or 190,000 health after all the potentials. It'd be so cool just to have one, but not saying it would be like end of the world changing for everybody that they'd see this Bearman, they would never fight him. It would just be cool. Anyway, that's how I'm going to end this video here. Hope you enjoyed.